Hello everyone, my name is Diego Tomasino. I'm the author of Come Out, Las Empresas También Tienen que Salir del Closet. And I've been working with the chamber for quite a year now, working with Steve. And I'm sorry I cannot be there today, but I wanted to go over very quickly over the presentation I had for you. And let me share my window and my screen. So we're gonna start and talking a little bit about hospitality and how to create more inclusive and diverse spaces for all of you and all your hotels. So I already talked about me. I'm from Argentina, but I've been living in Miami for 4 years now. So I'm a Miamian now. So thank you for this opportunity. Also, Raquel is also part of this Council on Diversity and Inclusion, and with her we prepared this presentation. And if you haven't done so far, I would like you to introduce yourself, but using your name and also your pronouns. This is also very important when we start talking about diversity and inclusion in every company now. We have to start asking people for the pronouns, and this is important because in that way people feel welcome and we stop thinking on our stereotypes. You know, people have many stereotypes. We have many stereotypes, and we need to start breaking all those things that sometimes make us we have do micro inequalities or small acts of discrimination that we don't want to go there. I also, when we start inclusive meetings, I like to talk about what's a word that represents you, and also why are you here? So why are you here today? So what's your why on being here and wanting to learn more on diversity and inclusion? So at this moment, you can put stop for a little bit and introduce yourself with your pronouns, and then we keep talking a little bit more on diversity and all the things that we have for you. So now that we have make all the introductions, I'd like to start with this quote. Know that diversity is like being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. Equity is that everyone remember to put your favorite song, and belonging is dancing like no one is looking at you. This quote is from Berna Meyer. She's a VP of Netflix, and then Twitter made some changes to the phrase, but I really love it because it explains very, very simple what's important now, no? And the difference between all these terms, the terminology. So we're starting with some DI concepts, but first we have to see, and we have not to forget that every company, it doesn't matter which industry we are in, is compound and diverse talents. So we have differences in age, gender, sexual orientation, ethnocultural origin, functional diversity, neurodiversity. So there are so many things going on that make people different and diverse. And it's not only important to talk about diversity, because diversity is who is part of my company now. And we came from different backgrounds and different, we can see different social status and different race, different age, different religion. But the important thing is how we connect all these pieces, you know, all these pieces in this puzzle, which is diversity, how we make it really inclusive, how we make it all work. And inclusion is exactly that. It's how people feel when they are at your company. And there's so many other terms and concepts that we need to go through. Is for example, generally we talk about equality. No, that equality is given all the same things to different people, and sometimes equality is not enough. We have to be talking about equity, because equity is giving each person the things and the resources that they need to thrive in the company, to thrive in society. So it's really important to talk about equity. And of course, if we go to more political scene, we have to talk about justice. But the important term here is that we start using the term equity, you know, and thinking of that is what my people need to be successful and to be authentic in my company. So when we talk about like inclusion, it's like they have many benefits for the company. First is like, of course, it creates more equal opportunities for everyone. And also it's super important for attracting and retaining the talent in your company. Because you can be the most diverse company in the world, but if people doesn't feel like welcome there, they're gonna leave. And you can do like many things, for example, to recruit more like Black people or immigrants, Latinx people, but trans people, but how they feel when they enter in your company. And why is it important to feel authentic? And I think it's more like with productivity. You know, sometimes people say that my personal life has nothing to do with my professional life, but sometimes that's not 100% true. In this case, for example, what's one of the first questions that people ask you on a Monday morning? What did you do on the weekends? And sometimes we don't feel comfortable to give a straight answer, because if you have a same-sex couple, same-sex partner, sorry, you start saying no because my partner and my dad, or you start like changing names or things that you do. So then your focus is on how people don't realize that I'm gay, that I'm a lesbian, bisexual, queer, non-binary, and you start like thinking on that instead of focusing on working and creating like your stronger bonds with your peers. So the mental health part of this and the productivity is one of the most important benefits that has like talking about diversity and inclusion. So, and also in more like a social scale, it's also like first a benchmark, because every company is like talking about this. It's the right thing to do. And also it inspires other companies to be better. Yeah. And also promotes the creation of ERGs, employee resources groups or affinity groups, and improves the corporate image. But for those who are more like a number person, it also has economic benefits for the company. So it has been tested by, this is a review that Deloitte, the consulting firm Deloitte did, so that it has been proven that it increases cash flow almost twice if you have a diverse talent there. And for smaller companies, that time is like 13 times more. No? And why is that? This is because you are more innovative. You have more points of view to take different ideas to say, okay, which is my market? What am I selling? What can I create new? What product? What service? How do I attend different parts of the market that sometimes I cannot see because I don't have these diverse talents that say, hey, look what happened to me when I went there, or for this group of people. So this is how, like, by innovation, by creativity, by being able to adapt to change, and also like having more productive people, this is also has a direct relation with the profits of the company. And it's also very important because generally companies that work on diversity and inclusion has also many things that are related to coaching. No, so you like create and promote the creation of new leaders in your company, and this is like you have a lot of entrepreneurial people inside your company who are like always seeing how they can do better, and they can like promote more things and promote more markets, and also empower the people of your company. So that's how it relates to economic benefits. And if we talk about the individuals per se, some of them already said that. I said it's like people save energy in trying to hide their orientation or their identity, greater focus on productivity, they are more loyal to the organization, more open-mindedness, the sense of belonging, and they have a positive, proactive attitude, and of course, the well-being that they have by being there. So what do we do internally when we talk and when we see internal aspects of LGBT? So I created this like inclusive routine that starts off, that will help you to say, okay, what do I have to do with this? So first, everything starts by listening. you have to listen what's going on, to start seeing what your employees are like commenting, what they're doing, how they are feeling. And so in this way, you identify those issues that affect your diverse talent. Then that helps you to review your policies and benefits of the organization. And here we go back to the equity. You have to be certain that everyone in your company or in your hotel that receive the same benefit, disregarding if they are out of the closet or not. No, so or they are trans or they are cis. So this is super important on reviewing your policies and benefits. Also, things like this, like trainings and workshops, that also helps to like create this. And it's not only on gender or orientation. There are so many things that you can teach. For example, unconscious bias, inclusive language, how to do a proper way of recruiting people, communication. What do you see in the companies? What do you show to society with your communication and your marketing? Also privileges and so many things more. Another thing that you have to be sure is to respect the privacy of the people, no? And what do you do to respect that if someone wants to like make want to go to HR to say, okay, I'm not like happy here, there's some things that are going on, I don't feel comfortable. Okay, how do you ensure the privacy of that person? And also empower new diversity leaders through coaching. And also, and of course, all of this process has to do with communication. You have to communicate what you are doing. And communication always has to come from the top, from the C-level, from the founders. And that's the only way that all the people in your company see and feel that they are being seen, and then the hotel is like really that they are doing this 100%. You know, that everyone is committed to diversity and inclusion. But besides like the internal aspect that we've just seen, there's also some external aspects. What we can do as a company, the whole society, not internally. So give me 1 second. I hope everything is okay so far. If you have questions, you can like give it to Steve, and then I try to like answer all of them by email or by phone. Just feel free to contact me. So regarding external aspects, it's like, why is it important talking about LGBTQ community in tourism? Because first, as I said, this commitment to society, to what is right, you know, is a commitment to respectful and equitable treatment of all customers and employees, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. Also to create safe spaces, spaces for your tourists, for the customers. So you have to have a zero tolerance of any kind of harassment, intimidation, mockery, threats, pointing, you know, all these jokes on LGBT people that sometimes there are. And remember that when we are talking about the LGBT community, it's also a business case. So the LGBT annual purchasing power in Miami is estimated at $9 billion. So is that a market that you want to miss, or you're gonna like work for that? And also some cities have become like a LGBT tourism spot, like Key West, Vallarta, Manuel Antonio, and many other cities. So if you create to create a whole big city LGBT friendly, this is going to be like amazing for your business. And here is, okay, how we communicate that, no? Because we have to remember that it's not only language, it's also images. So we have to be very attentive on the role stereotypes that sometimes we show in our website, for example, in our brochures and all that. Also, how you portray the LGBT plus community, also the other kinds of diversity, and of course, avoid the rainbow or pink washing. Rainbow washing or pink washing, that's so common, especially in June, you know? So you always have to see how this affects also your stakeholders, and remember thinking of everyone, not only your employees or your customers, also vendors, the society as a whole. And there are some like cases that, for example, I always give this example of a company that has like amazing policies for trans people to, when they are going through the gender, when they are transitioning in the company, they had the best policies, you know. But one of the persons who was transitioning had the worst time there because of the people who, the security guards. The security guards in the place that they were not part of the employees start like doing jokes to that person and say, no, why are you like dressing like that today? And yesterday you have like a completely different like outfit, you know, with a full other expression. And that person like ended up quitting, and he was like the marketing leader, and he had to quit because he couldn't handle the pressure of that. And the company forgot to teach and to train also the vendors. So relax with that. And here is something that you generally see on marketing for hotels. You see, for example, come here and get married. And okay, who are you like portraying? No, who is your customer? So if we see only these kind of pictures, okay, super straight base, you know, and it's like it has a focus. It has a it's aimed for straight people, of course. But also, if we are like planning on having LGBT plus friendly hotel, sometimes this image is not also right, because does this represent the whole LGBTQ plus community? Are we like all with this kind of bodies or this vibe of this, like, is this our customer we want? So we have to remember that there are many kinds of LGBTQ plus people. And this is very related to intersectionality. Intersectionality is what everyone is talking about now, because we cannot forget that a person can be a lesbian, but can also be like Latina, can also be like immigrant, can also be from a high-level social class or very lower social class, can be like on a wheelchair, can be like ear impaired. So we need to see that people as a whole and not as a part of just one letter, for example. So we need to see more of this, for example, in your marketing. So families, 2 guys, 1 kid or 2 kids. So we need to see like people with disabilities also. So this is part of how you have to communicate. This is also the LGBTQ plus market, not the only one we just seen before in that rooftop. Also, lesbians like that are like over 60 years old, they also are a full market. And this is like what I was saying at the beginning. It's like we cannot forget that there are so many things to do and places we can do and markets to tap, but we are just so focused on some like stereotypes that we forget that we have a full community out there, that all of these people can also and must also be your customers. And another thing when we talk about communication is like, okay, what do you show? So when those that people came to your hotel, so it's very easy to have like people with pins, with their pronouns, with different like flags that are compounding our community. So this also helps people to feel safe in your hotel. And this is also very important, the point of like gender neutral restrooms. I don't like to say that gender neutral because there's no a neutral gender, but you can say like genderless bathroom or whatever bathroom. But this is also important. You have to think of that when you have like big hotels. Have at least 1 genderless bathroom, because in these places like non-binary people, like trans people, people who are transitioning or don't feel safe with other people, they can go there and feel safe, you know. And if Beyonce could do that in her concert, you can do that too in your hotel, of course. And finally, just to be like closing up, but before I want to say, if like so far so good, And I'm gonna drink a little bit more of my tea. So finally, finally, we have the social engagement. You have to it's very important to say what do we do with society? You know, what can we do to do better in society? And Miami and Florida, even though everything that's going on now, there's so many prides going on. We have to see beyond Miami Beach and where else we can have like representation, where our hotels can be represented. So there are many prides here around Miami, in Miami-Dade, and also for Lauderdale, we have Key West, Wynwood, Fantasy Fest, St. Pete Pride, and you know, you're gonna say it's not easy now. Okay, who said it's gonna be easy, you know? But Pride, let's remember that Pride we started with a riot. So we don't have to we don't have to lose our ground. It's so important that. And the last part is also foster your alliances. Yes, and allies are so important now. We cannot forget to bring allies to the table because we cannot do it alone. Yes, so in order to foster these alliances, we have to have honest conversations, and sometimes that conversation is not going to be easy, but we have to lose the fear to have the difficult conversations. Also, we have to start having inclusive meetings. So we started this one with the pronouns and all that. Also using an inclusive language and show your support as an ally. So in order to help you with this, Steve has an amazing certification with this. It's called the Pink Flamingo, and it's very related to some other international certification that there are also in the world of tourism. Yeah, but the Pink Flamingo trains and certifies hospitality service professionals on gender and orientation and gives them tools to respond appropriately to all people. So with the Pink Flamingo, you are going to have more trainings like this, with specializing in all that inclusive routine, and also going forward on the use of pronouns, on the use of the genderless bathrooms and all that. So Steve is going to talk to you a little bit more on this. And I hope you enjoy the presentation. Sorry if I made some mistakes, but I wanted to go all over. So it's not cutting here. I wanted to do more informal, just to be there. And this is all my socials. That's my book. It's coming soon, in August. It's coming in English too. But feel free to contact me or contact Steve and send me an email. I feel very, very happy to answer all your questions. And again, sorry I cannot be there. And I look forward to meeting all of you. And thank you and have an amazing day.